Namo Amituofo Buddha. Hello everyone. So today I feel like sharing another true rebirth account, which also happened in the US, and it's also recorded in this book, which recorded a lot of successful rebirth cases, and also mentioned in Master Ching Kong's Dharma talk. So someone asked me to translate this book into English. If there isn't any English materials available, then I would definitely translate this book into English. And there are also other Pure Land centers in this world established by Master Ching Kong, and you could go and have a look in them. Sometimes their libraries, they also have a lot of materials in English related to Pure Land Buddhism. So go and check in there. If there isn't any material, I'll definitely translate it into English in the near future. And also I recommend you to watch Master Ching Kong's YouTube channel. I think there are some videos that have English subtitles. I'll also put a link below in the description box. So today this case again happened in the US, but this time it's in Washington DC. It happened around 1988. So there was a person called Zhou Guangda, Mr. Zhou Guangda, and I'll refer to him as Mr. Zhou in this video. So Mr. Zhou and his family ran a bread house in America, in the DC, and Mr. Zhou found out that he actually had cancer. He had blood cancer, and it was at a later stage, and the hospital said, they couldn't do anything. So they decided to give up treatment from the hospital, and everyone was all very desperate, was all in despair. The family didn't know what to do. They did not have any religious belief, they did not practice anything, but this time they started to go to the Buddhist temple. So a lot of Chinese, when they encounter some difficulties, or perhaps at the time of death, that is when they remember to perhaps go and visit some temples and to seek prayers, and they hope to have some miracles. And then they met Mr. Gong. Mr. Gong is a lay Buddhist who practiced Pure Land Buddhism and who practiced Nianfo, Amitabha recitation. So Mr. Gong told Mr. Zhou that, even if you got treated well in the hospital, but one day you still have to die. There are a lot of suffering in the world. Why not practice Amituofo, Amitabha chanting, and seek rebirth to the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss? There you will be liberated from all sufferings in life, and you will become enlightened. You will become a Bodhisattva and a Buddha in the near future. So he introduced Pure Land Buddhism to him, and also Amitabha Buddha and the Western Pure Land of ultimate bliss. And I thought Mr. Zhou must have cultivated a lot of good roots in his past life, or we call it good karma in the past life, that he believed in this immediately when Mr. Gong told him. He gladly accepted. So in the Amitabha Sutra, Sakyamuni Buddha told us that this is called hard to believe Dharma. Practice Nianfo to seek rebirth to the Pure Land. This is called hard to believe Dharma. And a lot of people, when they heard of this, they don't believe in it. Even for some Buddhists, who practice other branches of Buddhism, or even some Nianfo practitioners, they may not have 100% faith in Amitabha Buddha and Pure Land Buddhism. So Sakyamuni Buddha said, for people who actually believe in this Dharma and who could actually sought rebirth to the Pure Land successfully, they must have cultivated a lot of good roots in the past lives. So I felt this was what happened to Mr. Zhou, and he accepted gladly. And not just that, he required all his family members, his wife, his daughter, everyone to come and practice Amituofo, Amitabha recitation with him. Everybody was practicing Nianfo with him to help him seek rebirth to the Pure Land. So this is common for a lot of people who just encountered this Dharma at the time of death, because they don't have this habit of practicing Nianfo constantly. So at this time, they might require a bit of assistance. If there are other people who also chant the name with them, then they will remember to keep the mindfulness of Amitabha Buddha all the time to ensure that they could seek rebirth successfully. But for long-term for practitioners, who have 100 faith in this, and they will not require any assistance at the time of death. Sometimes they may ask other people to come and witness, or sometimes they just prefer to live silently alone by themselves, like the grandma case I shared in yesterday's video. So for Mr. Zhou, he required a bit of assistance, so they gathered a group of lay Buddhists and including his family to come and practice Amitabha recitation together, and they did it for 3 days and 3 nights, the entire time. So it was interesting that Mr. Zhou said he first saw Bodhisattva Siddhagarbha. And remember that he was not a Buddhist, so he didn't know who Bodhisattva Siddhagarbha was, but he described the look of the Bodhisattva he saw, and Mr. Gong said, okay, it's probably likely that you are seeing Bodhisattva Siddhagarbha, who is also another big Bodhisattva in Buddhism. But Mr. Gong said, just keep your focus on Amituofo, on the name of Amitabha Buddha, and keep this focus. And it doesn't matter who you see, but only when you see Amitabha, when you see the Western 3 sages, then you go with them. If you see other things, don't go with them. And he kept focusing on Amitabha, and slowly Bodhisattva Siddhagarbha disappeared. And after 3 days, he saw Amitabha Buddha, he saw the Western 3 sages. So the Western 3 sages include Amitabha Buddha, and together with his 2 other big bodhisattvas who are his major assistants, Bodhisattva Avalokiteshvara, or otherwise known as Guan Yin, and Bodhisattva Mahasamaputta, or otherwise known as Da Shizhi, so Da Shizhi Pusa. So he saw 3 of them, they came down from the cloud, and then he told everyone. So there are a lot of eyewitnesses of this, and that was why this case was also recorded in the book. So he told everyone that he saw Amitabha Buddha, he saw the Western 3 sages, and he would live with them. Not long after he left with them, his consciousness left with them to the Pure Land. So he definitely saw rebirth successfully to the Pure Land, and this is definitely true with a lot of eyewitnesses accounts. In the Visualization Sutra or the Contemplation Sutra, one of the main Pure Land Sutras, it says clearly that for people who had never encountered Buddhism in their life, if at the time of death they encounter someone who practiced Nianfo and tell him about this, if this person is willing to believe in it, and he chant the name of Amitabha Buddha, and he could also seek rebirth successfully. So this was exactly what happened to Mr. Zhou. And there are also many other cases like this, which I hope to share more in the near future. Namo Amituofo Buddha.